Welcome to Outlaw Woodworking. Today we're going to install the Jessam Master Lift. And this is model number 02120. This thing is well made. These little gold units you see right here, that's what mounts to your router. And it has really good instructions as far as adjusting these to the right router. Basically what you do is you unscrew these Allen heads, and it'll tell you in these instructions what router. So in this case, it has five. It hooks to almost any router. Now in my case, I have the 6900 series Porter cable, so it says F4. So if you look on this thing, you'll actually see when you take this gold piece off, there's letters on there. And then you'll have a number 4, and then you'll have an F. And then you just line all these things up. And then it has an adjustment thing up here. So this Allen head right here, it loosens this whole cage. And then when you set your router in there and you get the height adjusted, you clamp this down and your it's not going anywhere. So I've watched probably, there was about 3 videos or 4 videos on guys installing this Jessam router lift. What I learned on those videos is these instructions the instructions for routing out to put this in your table. I ended up buying this template, and this is an overpriced template. It comes out perfect. So I think it's worth it if you look at this table that I'm going to put the router in. You know, I spent a lot of time building this workbench and I don't want to mess it up. It says to use a 1/2 inch straight cutter, and basically you're only going to have a 1/2 inch lip around this that's holding this in. And there's a lot more room. There's a lot more room on the sides and even on the back than a 1/2 inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do about 1 inch on the sides and then about 3/4 in the back. And how I'm going to do that is I'm actually going to make an inside template to give it that little extra. And I'll show you how I do that. And that was the only real thing that I saw that people complained about, was that the side looked like it needed a little more room for support for the different things. Now that may or may not be true, but I decided it wouldn't hurt to start it off by giving myself that extra room and see how it turns out. So follow along and we'll see how that whole installation process. Now this is a good looking unit. I'm really happy with buying this thing. I've seen a lot of machine work over the years, and this thing is put together really well. So I'm looking forward to putting it in. And the unit came with 3 of these router plates. I ended up ordering it with the extra 10-piece box. I figured since I'm doing it, might as well do it right. So anyway, yeah, let's get started. Let's put this thing in so we can use it. The first thing I needed to do was make that inside template. So I got a piece of 3/4, same thickness as the guide, and marked out exactly how big the template needed to be, the inside template. And this will allow me to router a bigger support around each edge. I estimated 3/4 in the front and the back, and then I did 1 inch on the side. So basically I gave it almost double the support on the sides and 50% of the support on the front and the back. And then I basically just needed to put the template where it needed. First I did a test cut, and this was the test piece, and I was surprised how good it fit actually. The first couple passes with the router, I was too high, and I could tell it needed to go down just a little bit more. And the nice thing about it is once I knew exactly how deep the router could go and everything would work good, I mounted the template that I purchased to the T-track, and then I screwed off the template that I made in the center, and then I set the router. I decided to make multiple passes so that it would come out really clean. So I didn't router all at once. I made a few passes, and then I jigsawed the center out and cleaned off all around where the router was. I actually I didn't show it in this video, but I kind of took a piece of sandpaper and cleaned the inside edges of where I jigsawed out and where the router went across. I then followed the instructions and mounted my Porter cable router, which is a 25-year-old router, but it's made in America and it works great. So I think it'll go another 25 years. It's a Porter cable 6000 series, I believe, and it just keeps going. So the housing on this router was already pretty wore out, so it was a perfect place to put this router, and then I could just get a newer style router. Although I did buy a new router, I didn't feel it was as good as this old router. Anyway, I got it put in the table, and it has like 2, 4, 6. It's probably got 10 leveling screws. That way you can precision level this thing right to your table. So I went around and I got this thing really flush with my table, and it really turned out nice. Thanks for watching Outlaw Woodworking. You know, I've seen a lot of reviews on the Jessam router lift table. Everything about this router lift was perfect. It was one of the better machine products that I've ever bought. It was a really good product. The installation was flawless. Thanks for watching Outlaw Woodworking, and we'll see you next time. Anyway, later.